does it. We are live. What is up, folks? Welcome back to the Savage Podcast. I'm here with my buddy Sanman PR Vlogs on YouTube. Wait, this way. And it's been a hot minute, but we're going to come back and chit-chat and see how everybody's doing. Hope everybody's doing well. How have you been doing, buddy, throughout this pandemic round two?
COVID is still a big deal. I mean, you know that better than most in your line of work.
Yeah.
It never really ended for you.
Yeah.
It's been constant.
Cool variant names is all the only difference.
Yep.
A lot of different stuff.
Omicron variant, you feel has it been the worst in your opinion, or the original strain is still worse?
I kind of tend to think the original strain is worse, but Omicron, I think the numbers jumped up super quick, but we're seeing a lot less like lethal outcomes for this new one, in my opinion, just what I see personally. But it's not been bad. It's just it's not going away. It just keeps like regrouping, and and I don't know why that is, but I guess we do see a big surge every holiday. People get together, Christmas and New Year's was rough because as soon as that hit, there was just the numbers just exploded all over again when I felt like it was beat down to almost nothing. But a lot of the problems is you hear these variants being kind of found overseas and then getting shipped over here by airplane with business trips and whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, but I think we're handling it well. And that's about it. We just got to keep trucking. I'm just glad the numbers are down as far as deaths. That's the biggest thing, is survive it and then move forward. So who knows how long it's going to last total, but who knows, it may be something that's just part of our lives now, like how we used to have influenza type 1 and 2 shots you had to get every year. Now this is just going to be another shot you have to do every year, You
got to make sure you have masks now everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Mask ain't going away. You're always going to need those things now. It's not going to be
for sure. And it's tiring, man. A lot of people, I was talking to some nurses the other day, and it's the silliest things that we miss about the times before COVID.
Right.
One of the silliest things, two of them, the two that I've noticed the most that are like, doesn't seem very important, is one thing is like 24-hour Walmarts. People miss that. Like, a lot of us don't want to go here screaming kids and it'd be packed. So we go 3-4 in the morning.
Sure.
Because it's a luxury to walk
in your line of work. There was a beacon of hope finding a Walmart in the middle of the night. You could go in, you could use the restroom, you can get something to drink, a snack.
Yeah.
And now you guys are only gas stations is the only avenue now.
That's it. Yeah. Everything's shutting down so early. The other thing is with our phones, it's the face identity recognition with a mask.
Yeah.
You forget about having to log in and out of your phone to do things.
Your face ID doesn't recognize your mask.
So you're there typing.
It's like try again. I imagine that's annoying. Yeah, I know Apple is working on a solution to that. They are working on a fix for Face ID.
They're just gonna see the side of you, like just the top part of your face.
I don't really know the inside outs of it because that's top secret, but they are working on a solution for that.
It recognizes your eyes only, like a retina.
Maybe it's the retina thing they're going by, the retina.
It is. It's silly to think that that's annoying,
That's one of those things that's our life now. That's our world now. We have to live with.
For sure. But I mean, that just small things, you kind of think back like, wow, I miss those little things. They don't seem much important, but they were nice to have those.
So many restaurants have changed in so many little ways. Like a lot of them, you still can't dine in. It's drive-through only.
Right. Yeah. That. And
then the few that you can go in, you can't help yourself to things like napkins or ketchup. Like all that is provided at the counter now.
Yeah. Like
nothing is out because it's the transfer of the germs.
Right. Yeah. They want like kind of contactless stuff. Like, like you go into Taco Bell, you grab all the hot sauces you want and napkins. Now they hide them away. And
that's been taken from us.
Another thing is like when I go to eat somewhere, I drink a lot. I drink a lot of water. I drink a lot of soda.
Sure.
You can't just do refills anymore. And they don't want you up there touching the machinery, and it doesn't seem like a big deal, but I guess it is for a lot of us.
Heavy drinkers. I'm a heavy drinker when I eat as well. I'm that way.
Yeah.
More power to the people. You know, you're supposed to eat and not drink, according to dietitians.
Is that right?
You're supposed to eat without a beverage.
And you know, a lot of people were raised that way.
Drink after.
Like a lot of us older people, that's how our families were. Our parents were
like, you had a big old glass of whatever was being served.
And I've heard the opposite too. I've heard like drink a lot of water because it fills you up, so you don't eat as much calories.
Oh, I've heard that. That's a skinny people
water. It fills your tummy up.
I've heard skinny people talk about that. I've never practiced it, but
me neither. Yeah, for sure.
One thing that we can say has gotten better is the amount of entertainment at our fingertips with the streaming services. Everybody, in my opinion, is pumping out better shows and better movies because more people are home, nothing else to do but watch TV.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that too. It's there's so many well-made shows going together. The apps are killing me though, because like everybody has that one thing that they're good, you know, that like one show.
Yeah.
But if you want to see shows across the board, you got to keep paying all this money, and it's just too much. So we're trying to cut back now on all the apps we have. Like
you're starting to see a lot of the smaller ones kind of like make a bundle offer to people now. Like if you do $15, you'll get all three of these. Like they're starting to come together, and you know the battle lines are being drawn. Like who's going to get in bed with who.
Right.
But you have some that are just too big, and they just, unless they gobble another company, they will never be bundled with another streaming service. Like, so I think Disney Plus and Hulu's got a relationship.
Yeah.
Paramount Plus and Showtime is a thing now.
Yeah. One of the ones that I think I benefit as you're speaking about bundles is the Hulu, ESPN, Disney. Those
13, right?
Those three. Hulu, I have so many shows I love. As far as Disney Plus, of course, all the Star Wars. I mean, there's so many. And then I'm a huge basketball fan. I watch high school, college, and NBA basketball, so I get that free now too.
Disney Plus has definitely increased its worth in its short life that it's been available. It's really increased its library. Yeah. And there's a lot of non-kiddie options now on there too. It's not just family friendly only like it used to be.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Because with the acquisition of Fox, a lot of the Fox property stuff is on there. So.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We got like, oh man, me and the wife both love Discovery Plus. Because we like all those reality based like.
I paid for it 1 month. They got me 1 month, and that was last summer during Shark Week. I did do the $5 to get the additional Shark Week stuff, and then I told Sam to cancel it. We went through Amazon, added to our Amazon Prime, and then I was like immediately cancel it because I'm not watching all these dating reality shows.
No, I don't care about
I just wanted it for Shark Week.
Right, yeah. I can't stand the dating reality stuff, but as far as food, houses... me and the wife watched the 600-Pound Life, 1,000-Pound Sisters. I mean, there's a ton of content on there that we do like. My wife likes all that 90 Day Fiancé. I can't stand it.
Yeah, there's an audience for that stuff. Trust me.
Oh yeah,
there's a big following.
Trash TV, they call it. Yeah, there's people that love that stuff to death. They love all the drama.
Oh yeah,
and I'm not knocking.
They love.
I like weird stuff too. So.
Yeah, they love roasting the people on those shows. Is what it is to make them anything to make yourself feel better.
Yeah.
By mocking others, you know, you'll pay $5 a month for that.
I saw like Jersey Shore making a comeback. I almost vomited. I could never stand them the first run.
I heard, I don't know what this is going to be on, but I heard they were doing a reunion for the original Real World cast from back in the days from MTV. Oh, really? Yeah. They're going to do a reunion show with the original Real World cast now that they're like in their 40s, like our ages.
Yeah, that might be interesting. I couldn't stand it when it was a thing, but I mean, I bet people would love that. Like that dude Puck, the one that would throw up and stuff, all the weird people, all the adultery going on the show. People love all that stuff.
A lot of people don't know, but Miz got his chance in WWE because he was in the real world first.
Yeah, and Road Rules maybe once too, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that Real World with him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's now he's a multi-millionaire because of that one
Yeah,
show.
that's how he got on Tough Enough and won Tough Enough.
Right. Yeah. It's crazy how all this stuff is just a gateway for people to come out with amazing careers, you know, like YouTube and like just say for instance Justin Bieber, you know, he was a nobody, just a young kid from Canada. YouTube comes out and now he's like one of a big icon, you know. It opens up like I hear a lot of people, a lot of huge celebrities talking about how our iPhones are now. You can produce, direct, post to, you know, you can make movies on them and post it to the web, and you can just do so much now with what technology has brought us. It's pretty insane. Yeah. Is there anything like, let me just ask you, like, just top 2 or 3? Do you have any shows that you and Sam are just super hooked on right now that you can't, you know, get enough of? Like, I know for me, for example, it changes like when they run out, like when the season ends, I have to jump around, of course. But is there anything that's like your staple almost on a daily?
Yeah, definitely since New Year's, Peacemaker on HBO Max.
Yes.
Loved every episode.
Oh,
There's a new one that dropped yesterday, so we have episode 5 now. I haven't watched it yet.
me neither.
Or it dropped today. It was either today or yesterday, but there is episode 5 is up now. And then, of course, Book of Boba Fett, Disney Plus.
Yes.
Been enjoying every one of those. That's been a staple. And then I kind of finished it before the new year, but season 2 of Witcher was amazing, and I watched it twice, which I never do.
Right.
I rarely redo a series, but I had to watch that one twice because each episode is there's so much storytelling in Witcher. So I didn't mind rewatching those episodes. So those were the big ones for me in the last couple of months is
Right.
Peacemaker, Book of Boba Fett, Witcher season 2.
Yeah. Definitely all 3 of those for me too. Not so much for the wife. Those for our family is just a me thing. And then the wife and I, of course, have different types of, you know how it is when you're in a relationship. You have your together shows where she tells you better not watch that without me. You can watch all that other crap by yourself, but these is us.
Show cheating is real. We've been talking for years. We've been telling each other how show cheating on your spouses and the repercussion for it and the desire to watch an episode and act like you didn't see it. But the streaming service will tattle on you. It shows that you watched it. It shows there was.
Yeah, you can't get away with
it. Play again.
It shows exactly where you left off. And
there's no way to clear the history like on a browser and make it look like you didn't. Like it shows that you don't watched it. So
damn snitches. Yeah.
So what's your top 3 together shows that you're not allowed to watch without Lisa?
Let's see. What are we watching right now? We watch 600 Pound
1,000 Pound Sisters.
1,000 Pound Sisters. We watch together. We like tiny house hunters.
Mm-hmm.
We're totally into the tiny house hunting shows. She's getting in, believe it or not, she's getting into Witcher too. We had to start over.
No, that's a good one.
Yeah.
The women, Henry Cavill is a good one to get your girl in and watch Witcher. That's normally enough to get them in the door.
Yeah. But my wife is really strict. She does not care for sci-fi. And I guess a lot of women are like that. She can't stand sci-fi, but for some reason Witcher has drug her in. So that
she's
one,
not a big fantasy / sci type, no. But that show's holding her interest.
And I'm almost all sci-fi and she's none. So we really kind of don't have anything in common there.
It's probably because Witcher on Netflix was written and adapted to that show by a woman from the video game.
Well, there you go. That's probably what
it
is.
So the writer of the Netflix series you're seeing it from the viewpoint of a female writer. It's male directors and producers, but the writer of the Witcher show is a woman.
Yeah, that's what it is then. Yeah. Solo, like on my own though, man, there's so many. Like one thing you touched on was Peacemaker. Now, for me personally, I didn't have a lot of respect for Cena as a real serious actor, but with this series, he has blown me away, man. I haven't been a fan of his. I mean, yeah, for like wrestling and being
Mhm.
kind of like, but for whatever reason, Suicide Squad 2 and then on to this show blew me away, man. He is so funny. The show in general, it's so raw and edgy and it's just hilarious.
Go
And
back to the Marine movie. When he did the Marine, he was such a novice.
right.
And look how far he's come with his acting and the roles that he's applying for now. He's applying himself to more intelligent roles. They're not just comedic or
Oh yeah, they're taking him
the
serious.
brainless, beefcake,
Right.
mindless jock roles.
And in
He's really
return,
come a long way.
yeah, in return, you see him in commercials now. He's becoming a big ticket item. This show and that movie, Suicide Squad 2, has really catapulted him into mainstream. I'm very impressed with how he's. I mean, he's no The Rock highest paid actor, in Hollywood, but
No,
he's up there now.
but
He's
he's
getting
definitely
noticed.
improved what he's bringing to the table, and that's making these companies consider him for roles that otherwise he would have never been in the conversation.
Yeah,
Now Cena has become more of a he did like the stuff like reality show host and things like that because no one else wanted to do it. The lame commercials, he did it.
right.
And now the bigger properties are reaching out. And even in just his audio, like you're saying, I think he does the commercials for one of the car
Experience.
companies. And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think he does one of the car companies.
yeah. He has one of the car company ones. But like I don't know what it was, but pre 2020, we just couldn't see him, But now he's like, you're gonna see me now.
He's really made Beastmaker his own thing. He's really embodied that character and brought life to it. And it's such an obscure DC character,
Yeah,
and he's really brought mainstream appeal to a character that really on paper shouldn't be successful
yeah.
on paper, but here we are. It's one of
He,
the most streamed shows on TV right now around
he's
the
making
world.
it. Yeah, he's making it work. It's just it blows me away. I don't know who the writer is, like who's like
James Gunn wrote it, the
okay,
director of the
that
second
makes sense
Suicide Squad.
because that
And
guy's super
you got to
talented.
understand, when they were filming the Suicide Squad, the sequel, it got delayed because of the pandemic, like so many other projects, right?
Right. Yeah.
So because they were sitting and waiting to release the film because of the pandemic, because they didn't know what was going on with theaters, right? It was a what if.
Right.
James Gunn was bored and he wrote the Peacemaker idea as a show because they were waiting on lockdown, and he pitched it to John, and John says, "Oh, if you get a studio to approve it, I'll do it."
Yeah.
It was only because he had downtime from the pandemic Gunn wrote the series.
Everything just
So
aligned.
that is a direct benefit of lockdown that we got the Peacemaker series.
Man, we're lucky to have gotten it. Everything worked out just right, just for that to land. It's if I had to pick of all the superhero series, like because Disney's kicked out a zillion of them now. That is my favorite superhero overall. DC, Marvel, that one like took it for me. I'm not a fan of most of the new Marvel Disney Plus series. I really haven't gotten into any of them at all. And Peacemaker was an instant must for me.
Yeah.
Love
I
everything.
think it's because finally DC's not taking themselves too seriously, and that really carries Peacemaker to another level of entertaining and making you feel good and laugh.
Yeah.
Whereas most of the other DC stuff, especially, I've never enjoyed any of the Arrowverse. I know a lot of people love those shows,
Right.
but I just can't stomach. They're too cheesy, too cornball, in my
Right.
opinion, too wholesome. Like the audience they're going for is like 15 and under.
I'm sure the network
Those shows
itself
don't appeal to me at all.
the network itself probably makes them do that though, right? Like they have a lot of rules I'm sure they have to work through. They can't be rated R and all that
Well,
too
now
out there.
Stephen Amell has moved on. He's not contracted by CW at all. So
Mhm.
Arrow is finished, and then Flash. I think Flash is on its last legs. You got to think like that whole part of DC is coming to an end,
Yeah.
especially since HBO
Legends of
Max has the
Tomorrow.
rights to anything DC now.
I did, however, I thought like I did kind of get into Flash for the first few seasons, and I started
Mhm.
loving crossover stuff like with Legends of Tomorrow, but it's really kind of fizzled out for me. All of it, like you're saying, I agree completely. I did like it for a time because there wasn't much other stuff on TV,
Mm-hmm.
And the crossover stuff I thought was real creative. I like those kind of things, but it just fizzled out for me. I tried to just earlier because I was talking to you about my situation, stuck in a hotel room with very
Right.
little entertainment here, and I tried to go in to watch some Flash again because I think it's season 6 that they're on now, 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
But I was trying to catch up, and it couldn't hold my attention, man. And I
Yeah.
loved when they brought in like Elongated Man, I think his name is.
Mm-hmm.
Like that character. What's up, David? David's in the house.
Luker's in there.
Yeah, he is. What's up, brother?
He's crashing the party.
He's crashing the party. That's what Dave do. But I did, like I said, I did care. I did like it a lot, but it's fizzled out, and all this new stuff, definitely. But I was hating a little bit on Disney Plus, but I'll tell you what, Star Wars, Jon Favreau, that stuff saved Disney Plus for me right now. I was thinking a lot of people are complaining about the Boba Fett, like, oh, it's basically Mandalorian, and I do agree with that. But I mean, it's still so good. I'm just happy we're getting this, even though I feel like personally, why couldn't they save that, put that on Mandalorian 1 and 2, but as long as we're getting it, I'm not going to be so picky. I've enjoyed the last couple episodes. There's characters coming out that I thought I would never see on, TV like that, but he does it, man. He don't care. He's bringing out some very interesting stuff for that show, and I'm pretty excited now for this war that's building on Tatooine. It's going to be pretty epic. Who are we going to see next? I mean, the characters. I mean, what's her name? Rosario Dawson.
Mm-hmm.
She getting a little solo run for that character?
Yeah, she's getting her own series. Ahsoka's going to have her own series, live action.
Yeah.
And you got to understand that people like Fennec and Boba and Mandalorian are going to be on that show too and cross over.
Yeah, all this is going to crawl.
It's basically the Mandoverse is what we got.
It's the Mandoverse, yeah. And you know what? I dig it. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. Cad Bane, I didn't think that was, like, we didn't really get to see much of him in the actual movies, but I love the character in like the animated Clone Wars. I thought it was a cool, character. He's really cool, but to see him, I guess, live action, so to speak.
Cad Bane.
Yeah. Been off for the past. He's not really with the Separatists, but he's a hired gun. He'll do anything, and he's good, man. Not a lot of people that are non-force sensitive can go in and do what he's done to these Jedi throughout before Order 66, like you see him in the Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff. He's very unique because, as far as I can tell, he's just using his intelligence, and he's been able to duke the rebellion and many times over. And you'd think you're screwing with a Jedi. How are you defeating him like this all the time? But he manages to get away and do his thing. Very impressive with him. So it's a cool character to continue with in this live action series that we're getting. Oh yeah. Hey, I don't know. But what Dave's saying, the wife's telling me too, they're over there in a freeze warning in South Texas too. Last night was in the 30s and freeze down where I'm from. And Dave too. And then I saw, what's his name? Uber Hulk posting some snow that he's getting up there in the Fort Worth area. So Texas is getting
state.
Yeah.
Your state's just not built to equip with temps like that. Things go really bad down that way when the temps drop that low.
I'll forgive Dave. He should be jumping on with us, but I'll forgive him. But
send him the link. I'm sure he'll join us.
I did send it to him.
Oh, he's like, nah, not right now.
Yeah, we're not cool enough.
He's dusting off the dinosaurs.
But is there any excited for just say Disney Plus upcoming Kenobi? Like, it looks good.
Kenobi, you got to know where it's a one and done. There's going to be no season 2. It's going to be a mini series. Is how we have to treat it. It's not a series. It's not a movie. It's a mini series. It's going to be however episodes long, whether it's 6 or 8. They may be an hour to an hour and a half long each episode.
Right. Yeah. I've always been a fan of the miniseries. Like, of course, they've done a lot of shows in the past. I mean, even in the 80s, 90s, there's always these little miniseries. And in comic books as well, you have your ongoing runs of, X-Men and all that. But they did miniseries, and they would be like 4 or 5 books only. And those stories, like, they're easier to collect because it's only 4 books, 3 books, 5 books, and I love the stories of them. Two of my favorite ones that I can remember now, early '90s, was Deadpool and Deathlock. They were very short run miniseries comics, and man, that really really was fun to collect those. And today I still have everything from the '80s. I still own today. I didn't get rid of any of it. So you can imagine a small Kevin in say '84 walking half a mile into town to the gas stations that had new comic books every Thursday. Man, that was a big deal for me, and I still have them and cherish those. But I'm a fan of the miniseries, and I think back in the day you would never get these massive A-list actors to do them, but it seems like these last few years, man, they're all jumping into these little TV series. I think in the past they thought they were too good for it, but now you see the big names coming out in shows and not just the blockbuster hits. I got a
It seems like
coming
Hollywood is divided.
Nice.
Hollywood is divided with the whole comic book movies, and like there's a set of actors that say, "Oh, those movies diminish your acting."
Yeah.
And then there's the whole other group of actors that are like, "I'm getting paid, so I don't care. I'm just here to make this show, make this movie, and get paid."
Yeah.
And then there's other actors who are like, "Oh, comic book movies is not really a movie. It's
Yeah.
They look down on those roles."
Yeah, they do. Yeah, it's true. It's meant for a certain demographic of us, and we're into it.
Roland Emmerich, your favorite director, the guy that did Stargate and The Day After Tomorrow and all the 2012 movie, all his movies are about the end of the world. And his most recent movie coming out is called Moonfall. It's about the moon is going to crash. So,
but there's a sci-fi aspect to it, isn't there?
Oh yeah,
because I
it's
see like
sci-fi. There's sci-fi involved.
hands. It caught my interest immediately the first time I saw it on a preview or a commercial.
So Emmerich recently said on Twitter that the Marvel and Star Wars movies have ruined movie making audience. Like the audiences are forever used to being given content like Marvel and Star Wars is doing it now, and he feels like it's diminished the film industry, in his opinion.
Yeah. Independence Day and Godzilla, huge movies. So this guy's got an amazing repertoire of stuff he's come out with.
Which Godzilla did Emmerich direct? I don't remember which one.
It's not the Matthew Broderick Godzilla.
Oh, he did that one? It would make sense. That would be the one.
Yeah, I think it's that one.
It wouldn't be the modern one, the 2014 one.
No, that's a whole different style, you could tell.
That movie's too good to be a Roland Emmerich movie.
98, Blucher says. That Godzilla caught a lot of heat, I saw, but I actually like it. I like the style of it now. I wish I could go back.
The Andy Broderick one?
Yeah, the Godzilla, his look, the way they made it was so different.
He wasn't fat like the modern one is.
Yeah, he didn't.
He was all like dinosaur looking.
It was his own style, I think, that he kind of came up with, and now I wish I picked him up when they came out as collectibles. He says that 2014 was directed by Gareth Edwards. Okay, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
When it comes to my knowledge base of like movies and stuff, the actors is where it ends for me. The directors, producers, really keep up with that knowledge. But
that guy's gone on to do bigger things now, Gareth Edwards.
Yeah. Are we gonna see another sequel in that whole Godzilla Kongverse going on? In there another one that's being ramped up?
Well, that would be Dave's department. I'm not sure. I would think so. I'm pretty sure.
Godzilla expert.
Legendary made a killing with Kong versus Godzilla.
So true, yeah.
They did really good globally.
He also did Rogue One. Wow. Rogue One was very good.
Oh, he did Rogue One.
I feel like those last 3 Star Wars movies it really put a damper on stuff, but I think Rogue One salvaged a lot of it, a lot of those fans. And
100% agree.
Yeah, so going forward with everything we're getting, I mean, as good as Star Wars seems to be getting again, I'm hoping these kind of people, like he's talking about, Gareth and John Favreau, get to play into the big screen movies for Star Wars going forward. And I love the area that we're hitting on Clone Wars, but I'm ready for something outside that part of the the timeline. That timeline's great, but it's time to see some new stuff.
Yeah.
They already killed off the people that I grew up that I loved in the 70s and 80s. All those rebellion, characters and Jedi's on they're gone. They're getting killed off. So why
Well, that's
stick
what
with
they're supposed to be exploring, something called the High Republic, and it's like 1,000 years before Anakin was born.
Oh wow.
So it's going to be it's not going to be Skywalker diluted storytelling. It's going to be when Sith and Jedi were equally as powerful, and they fought on several planets. They were always at war.
Yeah, Toho is they got the ultimate power when it comes to Godzilla for everything, movies, games. Speaking of, here's I think this was a 85 or 6, the NES Godzilla from Toho.
Neat.
It's 85 actually, it says in the back. This is a fun game. It's simple, of course, side scroller style.
Yeah.
But it's one of my favorites. I was just playing it a little while ago. And then, of course, this is one of my favorites when I was younger too, was Bart versus aliens.
Is that the one where you start on the Great Wall of China on a skateboard?
Yeah, he's on a skateboard and you go around and have like X-ray vision so you can find who's aliens and all that. Absolutely, sir. So it's been good as far as shows and movies as well. The movies, I really started with the whole pandemic and quarantining. The way that we were getting blockbuster quality movies at home was great, but it seems like they're trying to push us back into theaters now. So there's a lot that we're not getting to see. Like I still haven't seen Spider-Man.
Me either.
And that's kind of heartbreaking for me because I really wanted to see it, especially with all the hype it's gotten.
Seen a lot of memes that are spoiling the plot too.
I don't know if that's just rumor.
Yeah, there's a lot of spoiler memes out there.
Your volume's gone.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Is that any better? Is that on my back?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Sweet.
You disappeared for a sec. I didn't know if it was my side because I got a call.
But I was saying, I've seen a lot of spoiler memes for No Way Home that I wish I haven't seen because I haven't seen the movie yet.
Yeah, and like a video, like poor quality shots that they were showing from theaters. Yeah, I would rather see Tobey Maguire walk out than already finding out before I saw it.
Sure.
So I agree with you. I'm a big Tobey Maguire fan before Andrew Garfield, but I did like Andrew Garfield. So
I think that's one I'll consider paying for when it comes out.
You might buy a copy
to
of it.
own it.
Yeah.
And
Supposedly
they'll charge you like $29.99 and you own it.
Yeah.
It's cheaper than going to the theater. If you take 4 people to the theater, that's like $100 bill.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Did I pop my head? Okay. Let me get there I am. Okay. Sorry, I was having some issues there for a sec.
Oh, you fine.
Someone started calling it. It was knocking me out. But yeah, I agree with you. I'm excited to see it eventually, and I as well. Like I stopped buying physical copies of movies, but the wife and I have built a really awesome digital collection. I like the digital collection because we can watch it anywhere,
right,
on our phones, on our tablets, in our bedroom, and it goes with us forever. It's forever and it doesn't take up space. Back in the very early 2000s, I was big into DVD collecting, and I amassed over 1,000 movies. But I mean, that takes up your house eventually, and it posed a lot of problems for me. And then moving them around too. So this digital, we're just both into the digital collection right now. So
I'm
I'll
right there
definitely.
with you. I know Dave is a big physical media guy, but I prefer digital.
Right, same with me. I prefer the digital, just like you. If I guess I don't know. I wanted to. I love VHS tapes. I used to love to collect them too, but 4 or 5 years ago when I started kind of collecting action figures again and like kind of getting into the whole collection a lot more, I want to watch my collection. That's the problem, is I want to collect and watch, and the VHS tapes to me get screwed up every time. Like I put them in a decent VCR and it still tears up the tapes, and I don't want to collect and ruin them because I want to watch them. So I said no. It's just I want to collect, but it's just that's not going to work for me. I'm not going to collect those if I can't use them as well. And they get damaged, like if too hot, the tape itself takes on damage and you just can't watch them. Like same thing with not movie music cassettes, the old cassette tape, albums or whatever you want to call it. Same thing. You leave them in your, like, at least for South Texas, if you leave them in your car, they're ruined. They melt, they warp.
Yeah.
So it's a hard thing to collect unless you're going to put them away in a climate control room and never enjoy them. Man, y'all got some snow, huh? Man, I haven't seen that in a long time. Oh, you can't see here, but in California, it's beautiful.
Oh, is that
the sun, the ocean.
What's the temps?
It's been in the 60s every day, mid 60s.
And that's what they consider cold, is 60s over there.
Yeah, you see, like where I'm coming from in South Texas, more than 3/4 of the year, it's like 110 degrees. I love the cold. By nature, I'm just love cold. So here, I'm walking around in shorts and a short sleeve, and they look at me.
Everyone else is like scarves.
Damn, it's 60.
Earmuffs, gloves.
Yeah. I'll walk around in the 40s, man, outside in shorts. I love it so much. It feels so good to my skin.
That's funny.
Yeah, but I already stick out, so they just look at me like I'm a weirdo. Yeah, I'm excited to be over here, though. I'm just, like I was telling you, next week or the week after, I'm going to get to see Frank and Sons, and I'm just so excited to experience that. Oh, Blucher. I think I do too, because my eyes are always.
I do. I ain't gonna lie. I do feel like taking a nap.
Man, I've been struggling with my sleep. I get 2 hours at a time usually, and then I'm up for hours and then 2 hours. Like, I know it's unhealthy, and I've been struggling. But since I got here to California, I bought some generic Walgreens sleep aid. Man, look at those. Some nice looking collectibles. I bought me some
on my desk here. My work desk.
Man, you got a nice. Is that yours or did the company?
No, that's Apple's.
Wow, that is awesome. They provided my wife with computers, her job too, but they're nothing that nice. But you work for
this is a 27-inch Mac. That's like a $1,600 computer.
Do you have an iPhone also for the company?
No phone, just an Android. My personal.
Yeah, I would love to have a Mac. I guess the laptops.
The AirBook, MacBook Air.
Yeah, I think they work so well. Like, I'm an iPhone user permanently. I've used one since it came out.
That ain't no Toy Biz.
That ain't no Toy Biz. That's the
Hasbro.
That's that new Hasbro.
Hasbro.
That one is highly sought after still, and the animated Hulu series.
For a minute there, I thought this one was like peg warming anywhere. I heard GameStops were like giving them away for a minute there. There were so many Modocs that nobody bought.
Yeah, I didn't pick any up when I saw them briefly and I never got any. But
I'll tell you what I seen at my Walmart yesterday. I seen Bo-Katan Black Series.
the
First
6 inch.
time I've ever seen her. Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, I might pick her up. And then I see on the peg, $22.99.
Yeah.
I was
Everybody
like, hell no. I'm not paying like $20, $19.99 I'll do, but $22.99 was GameStop's price like 2 years ago for
right. Yeah.
Marvel Legends and Black Series. I
Now
cannot,
now
I
Walmart's
will not
adopted those
be.
prices.
Now Walmart has become
Yeah.
scalpers.
Yeah, they've adopted the prices on Legends too. On Legends, on the
No
Star Wars.
thanks. I
That's
left her
you know
there on
what?
the peg.
On the wrestlers too. I remember last year
Hmm.
they were almost every Elite Mattel Elite was $15.99, and they
Right.
shot up to
I remember that.
at Walmart. $22.99, all of them
$22.99 for elites.
for Elites.
Well,
Yeah.
my Walmart hasn't had elites in months. All we have is basics, and they're still. I
Wow.
think they're like $12.99 now. Basics.
Man, they went up.
They're not even $10 anymore.
The basics, the only ones I really like are the females because they still have the decent leg on a ball. You know, the upper. It's upper thigh. It's not just the peg, the swivel legs or whatever you want to call them. It's actually they still have more articulation on the female copies, but the males are still very basic.
I tell you what, I wouldn't mind paying $22.99 for if I saw it retail. Would be the classified Alley Viper,
Okay.
the
Yeah.
GI Joe with the orange
With the
shield, and
orange.
that toy was one of my favorites growing up in the '90s when that figure came out. The three-quarter inch version.
Right.
I loved Alley Viper, and I love that his face shield went up, and just to have a 6-inch version of that
Yeah.
would totally be a throwback to my childhood for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I like.
He comes with a lot of shit too for a 6-inch figure. They gave him a lot of weapons on top of the shield.
Yeah.
And I believe on the classified version, the face shield thing is optional. You can take it off completely and display him without it if you want.
Yeah. Blucher says he still wants the Snake Eyes with Timber. I have not. I've picked up a few of the 6-inch figures when they first started out, but I quit. I'm so invested from my vintage line in the 3 3/4 scale. I don't think it looks good on my shelves together, so I stopped. But if I still really like what Blucher saying, that with Timber, all the ones with their counterparts, counterparts, Spirit and Freedom, Timber, Crocmaster, and
have they done Shipwreck yet with the Parrot?
No, but we'll get one. I bet. I haven't seen a Shipwreck. Period.
Shipwreck was a pretty cool toy back in the days too. As a kid, he was a fun GI Joe.
If I have to choose my top 10 vintage GI Joe, and vintage I mean 82s to 90s. Before that, we just had the 12-inch dolls, which were okay. But if I'm going 82 to 90, Shipwreck is in my top 10. He will. I thought he was a great character. I don't know what it was. Him, and then the police officer with Mutt. Law, I think his name was Law something, and Mutt. That one. There was a few, and then of course Crocmaster with his alligator. Those were always fun to get, even though there was no articulation on the animals.
I'm really a fan of the ones from the beginning of the 90s until like 92, 93, and then they just stopped the line.
Yeah, and
they were so colorful. Like the colors of the figures were like in the weapons.
They popped a lot more.
And the packs got like really cool design. It was something magical going to Walmart as a kid and just having a sea of GI Joes to look through.
Yeah, they were so colorful.
And it's nothing like it is now. I feel sorry for today's kids, especially boys or kids that identify as boys. There's nothing to choose from. The pegs are empty.
Ow! I like watching all the TikTok videos where they make fun of our 70s versus 80s versus 90s. We were tough.
Yeah. Like running into a wall and like yeah. Gen X is like shrugs and keeps going.
Yeah, us 70s kids, we got stabbed and we just pulled the knife out and kept
Yeah.
going. It's true.
The
But I
hand
agree with
holding
what you
didn't
said.
really start until the 80s. Then it just snowballed from there.
Yeah, just slowly until we
Then
get to
90s kids,
then we hit the
2000s.
cancel culture
Gen
generations.
Zs are already like preying on millennials. They're basically treating millennials like they're boomers.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's wild, but it's a wild time to be alive.
I jumped out of the GI Joes after that early '90s, like you said, when it came to an end. That was it for me. I mean, basically those the body styles were still kind of similar, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And then once they changed that to the, I guess the 2000s, and then with the movies, I just
Yeah.
couldn't stay. I couldn't do it anymore. It was such a
When
change.
when Hasbro got the license for both Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat,
Yeah,
I loved integrating those characters and those vehicles with my Joes. That
yeah.
was toward the tail end of me moving on from buying Joes and period. And I just think the line came to an end anyway. So,
Basically, they started redoing a lot of stuff, and the
but
vehicles
that was
started
the
getting.
era that I just loved how colorful all the shit was. The vehicles were like so vibrant. Like Cobra stuff was like super purple,
Yeah, blue and
and the
purple and all
missiles were like you could see
neon.
them if you turned the light off. They were so vibrant, they would glow. They were just
Yeah. And they got creative because I mean you can only do tanks, jeeps, and airplanes, helicopters so many times. So they started thinking outside the box and coming up with crazy ass. You know what I own right now that it's still an '80s piece, but it's a lady was the Pogo, the Cobra Pogo. I thought that was wow. Who's ever seen that? That's a creative vehicle. I liked it so much I bought it as an adult because I couldn't afford it as a kid.
I always wanted the General as a kid, but never would my parents buy it. It was like
Right.
$80 in the 90s.
Yeah.
And the General was like that long, it was like a mobile base basically.
Yeah.
And that was like, the flag was only like $120 at retail when it launched in the late 80s.
Yeah. But back then it
But
was
in those years that you might as well have been $1,000. No
that's what I
kid
was gonna
had
say. That was $1,000 toy to us because my parents
right.
we're poor. Now,
Inflation.
now it's
120 was a lot still then. Now 120 is nothing now.
nothing at
That
all.
buys you one SH Figure Arts toy now, not
Or
a
you get
US
this,
flag.
and that took up real estate. I mean, I think the majority of us lower middle class collectors, we didn't have no space for it set up out of the box. It was just impossible.
I've saw it on display once at a con, and I've seen it in the box a few times at cons for ridiculous money.
Yeah.
But I never knew anyone who had it. The biggest one that I had friends that had was the spaceship launch thing for Joe's.
Oh, the Defiant.
Yeah, I seen
Oh.
that in person. I knew kids who their dad worked hard enough and he made enough money that they had the Defiant, but I never knew anybody that had the flag.
The Defiant is a grail for me, man. Even if I couldn't
Oh
have it
yeah.
complete, I would still like the ship only. The
If you
top ship.
got the actual shuttle and like you take anything you could find if you found a Defiant piece, right? Even if it was missing doors and
Anything, I would piece it together the rest of my
maybe
life.
you could create a series where you would slowly build it back piece by piece. And no one's
the one
done that before.
I taught David how to
it's
do.
It's an original idea.
Yeah. That original idea I had before
Let's
David.
restore the Defiant one piece at a time.
Yeah. Oh man, I would. That's my all-time.
That's food for thought right there.
It is.
No one's ever attempted that.
I've never seen the Defiant rebuilt with anybody I know. They
or any Joe vehicle for that, man.
The Warthog, all those. Yeah, you're on
See,
something.
in the beginning of the 90s, there was a little Jeep called the Mud Buster.
Uh-huh.
And it was bluish color. It was a Joe vehicle. It wasn't Cobra. And my brother got that, and I got like the equivalent to that in Cobra, and they had like a ski on it, and I hated it because they had a ski. It was like a snow vehicle. Yeah. And I kept trying to Jew my brother into trading me the Mud Buster.
You're like, nah, that ain't happening.
I would make mine seem so cool, and he'd be like, "No, I'm good. I'll keep the Mud Buster." I'm like, "You little bastard!
You were putting on a facade. You were tricking
and I could play with it just as easily as he could because we shared our stuff.
Right.
But I wanted to be I wanted the title in my name.
owner.
I'm the owner.
Come on, look how fun it is with the
I
Solar
could
Escape.
play with it just as easily as he
But
could
in
because
your
we
heart, you knew
shared
that it
all
was
our
the knockoff.
toys. But I wanted the ownership.
Yeah. In your heart, you knew that was not the cool one. But you still tried to play it off like it was.
Yeah. I jewed him out of Muckman years ago. I had bought Wingnut and he got Muckman same day at the store. And all that day I kept trying to trade him. Give me Muckman, you take this guy. And he's like, nah, I'm good, fam. I'm going to keep Muckman. We had custody battles over Muckman, dude. I had to hire a lawyer and go into debt.
You had a TMNT divorce court.
We had to agree to days, visitation schedules. You can't write shit like that, dude.
But that's how it was. You know, to be honest, just personally, I like Wingnut better just because
you like Wingnut more.
Wings, yeah, the wings and everything. He could fly.
It was just something about the little buddy that Muckman had that went in this trash can.
That is cool, yeah.
And then the ooze came from his mouth and from his chest.
That is cool. You're right.
Like I just couldn't handle like how friggin' dope that toy was. I needed to own him.
I got both of them luckily, and I think I have both complete. But right now, like for me, speaking kind of grailish, I still need the sewer, the original wagon. Those two pieces are the most important, and then after those two,
Pterodome.
I need the Pterodome. Yeah, those three. I should
or
say
the Technodrome. I don't know what I'm saying.
Well, I think
there's too many geeky things that sound too similar.
Cobra has the Pterodrome, I believe.
So Technodrome is Technodrome.
Yeah, from Planet X, I think it was. That's when we started learning about Krang. But those three are grails for me. And beside those three, I want the Muta Rock and Roll Bus. I don't know if you've seen it, but they have the school bus. And the side, it opens up and they all like play instruments. It was stupid, but it was a kind of a mid 90s thing because, you know, they went crazy expanding all the characters. Star Trek, you know, rock and roll. They had like the Michael Jordan. Like they just went off, but
they had military turtles. They had athletic turtles. They had the beat theme turtles. I mean, it was an amazing time to be a kid.
Universal monsters were the most important.
Oh, yeah.
Getting crazy.
Those are super valuable, aren't they?
Yeah. I really.
Loose or in card.
Yeah. But the Mutabus, it was like a school bus, and it opened up and it had like a stage for them to perform on. That vehicle is probably of all the play sets and vehicles, that's like my fourth or fifth. It would hit top 5 for me with vintage turtles. You don't see them a lot either. I don't see everybody showing, look at my Mutabus, rock and roll bus, like, you know. But those things I will have eventually.
I had the blimp.
The blimp is another one. Yeah, you're right.
I had the blimp, the turtle blimp, and I had one of the motorcycles. Can't remember which one. But I didn't really have bigger play sets or anything like that. I had.
They were too expensive to me. Like the large box play sets back then. They were just.
I think we had that thing that shoot pizzas out. It was like a pizza cannon.
Yeah.
They were like smaller play sets. They were like under $20.
Those were the mid-size that you could afford.
Right.
I have that. The pizza tosser or whatever it's called. I have that with the pizzas. And you're right.
I think I had one of the inner tubes as well. That was a fun toy in the pool.
The inner tube.
The inner tube.
Blucher is kind of hot and heavy, I'll say, on the Kenner Police Academy collection. His collection looking really good. If you see him post his pictures. That also is kind of part of my youth. I love the Police Academy. So I would love to pick up in the Police Academy world. I like the car. I already have their play set was actually just the real Ghostbusters play set.
Yeah.
Blue and gray. But
it took me forever to realize it was the same mold as the Ghostbusters.
Same mold. Almost nothing changed. But if I could get it a good price, I would still want it also. But for them, you got to get their little vehicles, like the little scooter that Hightower comes with. And then you got Tackleberry's motorcycle. It's like a highway patrol motorcycle. Beautiful. The car is very expensive too. And that's just a small little thing, you know. but I would still want it. Those Kenner figures are incredible. So maybe one day.
Mhm.
But yeah, I want to get on to a lot of what I'm lacking in a lot of my collection, I think, is play sets and vehicles, but they take up so much real estate. It's kind of hard to dive into them. And I don't want to just have to get it and then put it away because I can't afford to display
Right.
it, or I don't have the room. So
No, I get it. I mean,
I'm working on putting together a huge, like maybe a 20 by 20 metal building outside of my house, and climate control, air conditioned. I'm gonna have that built, and I want a display room where it encompasses the entire inside of the walls, and then in the middle I'm gonna have my desk that I have now, the table, and then around the table is gonna have an inner row of like bookshelves. So it's gonna have collection inside and outside. So that's the plan eventually, but it's probably not gonna happen until like maybe next year. But
yeah.
I'm excited for it. It's gonna
But
look
the
good.
important thing is the seed's been planted up here. You have this vision of what you want it to materialize. So that's good.
And then working towards that, my plans are to cut my collection in half before I move into it. Even though I have more room to display, there's shit in there that I don't want to display. I think I got caught up in my channel, so I picked up stuff that wasn't real true to my heart, which I don't think is a loss because I can still sell everything.
Yeah, there's always
I never bought shit full price.
Because of people like yourself that have created this genre of following collectors, there's an increased market for people who want the stuff now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I never ever picked up stuff full price. That was the thing, is when I picked it up, it's because it went on a
deals.
super Walmart
you got deals,
clearances. So I don't think I lost on it because
you've been blessed by the clearance gods in the past. You've found some gems.
Yeah, like when we had that 2 series of Star Wars and Solo when they were coming out for 4 cents or 16 cents.
I remember you copped like the entire Black Panther wave relatively cheap too. Like when you built M'Baku.
Yeah, he was one of the very few that I actually got to build the whole wave off of just clearance, which was cool.
That's not an easy feat to do.
It's not. And I hear rumor that that character could become the next Black Panther.
I've heard that too.
So if that's true, then that would be cool to have the Build-A-Figure.
What's that guy's name? Winston Duke or something like that?
The actor.
He just recently negotiated a big contract renewal with Disney because there's no reason why his pay would go up unless he was getting a bigger role in the MCU.
Absolutely, you're right. Yeah.
And what role's bigger in that genre than Black Panther? Now that they have to fill that hole because we lost Chadwick.
Yeah. It's kind of a crapshoot what's going to happen with that character, because if we go by the comics, of course, his sister became Black Panther once. So, but I don't know if this young actress, I heard that she had injuries.
Yes, she did. She got injured filming the sequel.
So,
and they had to stop production. And then she got better, and then the Omicron happened, and that halted production.
Right, yeah.
So they're hitting a lot of roadblocks with that project.
For sure, I agree. I would have been great, fine with a female role, just because I guess my love for Marvel started from comic books in the 80s. So I feel like every time they stay more true to the comic storylines, I like it. And that would be right along with it, having the sister fulfill.
Well, I know you said you weren't a fan of most of what Disney Plus has done with Marvel so far, show-wise.
Yeah.
And I've not watched them all. I'm slowly starting to chip away at them myself now. But I really enjoyed, of what I have seen so far, What If was the best by far.
I need to watch it. That's one
I would start with What If. Watch What If to completion, and if that doesn't make you excited to see the rest of them, then don't watch them.
Yeah.
I really liked every single What If on Disney Plus. Those are really good.
That's one that
with the Watcher,
because the What If was a limited run, and it's a vintage comic book it's coming from. And I loved collecting the What Ifs when I was a kid, so I want to see what they do with them.
I love this. The stories of each What If is so cool. The parallel universe, the small
Yeah,
changes that can completely change the way things played out. It was very
for
good.
sure. Man, one of my favorite what ifs, and it's kind of weird, but it was Frank Castle
Hmm.
becomes Captain America. They gave him the super soldier, and he ends up with blonde hair, and he becomes the super soldier. But his nature of being that anti-hero, he's a
Hmm.
murderer. There's no way to say he's a hero, because of the way he conducts himself. He takes the
Right.
long.
He kills. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but him in that character, he's trying to force himself to be what he's not. It was just it was very complex, character, and he stayed who he really was. Eventually, he tried to be this wholesome Boy Scout, but he
Yeah.
couldn't. He's the damn Frank Castle, and it showed through the character. It's just well written for comics at the time. So yeah, those definitely I need to watch, and also because they're animated, they're not live action,
Yeah.
so you can do a
I
lot more
think
with.
you'll really dig what they're doing with that storyline. The way it ends,
Yeah,
it ends in an open ended, like they're going to continue that series. So I
awesome.
highly enjoyed it. And then Sam and I did WandaVision together, and it ended up being nothing like I expected. I really enjoyed it. It starts off real slow,
Yeah,
but as you get closer to the meat and potatoes of it, it really pays off. So I highly recommend that. I think we're going to try and do Loki next, but I can't watch it without her. We have to watch it together.
you don't want to get in trouble, so you got to wait.
But I did see Winter Soldier and Falcon without her because she had no interest in watching that one. That one was super
Did you
boring.
like it?
Super boring. Didn't hold my interest at all, start to finish. Didn't enjoy any of it. I mean, it wasn't bad. It's just they're side characters. There's a reason why they were cat side.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they aren't. They neither one of those guys can hold my interest.
Yeah.
They just don't carry enough weight as characters, in my opinion. That was very, very boring. So I'm
Yeah.
hoping. I've heard nothing but good things about Loki, so I'm pretty sure Loki's going to be enjoyable.
Yeah. As far as Wanda and Vision, again, that kind of love story, forbidden love story, is vintage comics, and it was boring then to me. So that's I think kind of turned me off on it. I didn't
Hmm.
like the series really. I do love Wanda though, in a
Yeah,
lot of the House of M. When you get into the House of M, how she like pretty much changed the universe and she destroyed a lot of superheroes. And she's awesome. I just don't like that story of their relationship. It never talked to me.
hmm
We still need to watch Loki, Falcon, Winter Soldier, and What If shows. WandaVision was amazing. I think a lot of my problem with WandaVision is like you were saying, they start off slow and they build
it's
towards
a
the end.
very slow burn.
I think
WandaVision.
that little beginnings ruined it for me. I didn't give it.
It's
I need
not
to
until like the third episode you start to get some really good
give it.
content that hooks you.
Now she
Episodes
brought him
one
back to
and
life.
two are
Right?
like full on parody.
He was really dead, right? She went and stole this dead body and brought him back.
That's
That's
what they want you to believe.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Badass. I'm gonna. You know what? I'm sitting here doing jack shit
Stomach
today.
through it. Stomach through
Yeah,
it. And well, I'd
I'm
love
gonna
to
have to
see
do
what you
that.
think afterwards. Give it another shot.
We do it live tomorrow, and I'm like, yeah,
I
Disney
still
Plus.
wish you watch What If first though. That one
What if
you'll
first?
binge.
How
I know
many?
you.
How many
What
episodes?
if there's only like 6 of them? It's not many.
That's it. And they're all different. Every one is a
Yeah,
different.
each one is a different What If, but I'm not gonna ruin it for you. You gotta watch What If.
I'll watch it. I really like the action figures that came from it, especially that Stomper.
Yeah.
So I want to see the
The
Stomper
zombie
with it.
cap was another one that people was all over.
Yeah, it's a cool looking character, Zombie Cap. I definitely would be into it as well. The character, at least. So I want to give it a chance. I'm glad you brought it up because that was one that I didn't. There's so many shows that I mean to watch and I never get around to it just because there's so much shit to watch and I'm busy, so I have to pick and choose. I end up watching stupid shit like Tiny House Hunters and 600 Pound Life. But you're right. That's today. I'm gonna binge it
Watch
all.
something nerdy.
I'm gonna watch something nerdy. It's where my heart belongs. So yeah, I'm glad you brought those up. I need to give them honestly, since I have the app and all that, and I love the app for the archives of all the shows that I love. I need to go back and watch them all. Eventually, it's free, so why not, right? Definitely. So what if today, and then maybe I'll jump in and try to finish WandaVision. I think I did watch 2 episodes and I just quit. I think that's what happened with that. I watched like half of the first episode of Loki, and I liked that Owen Wilson came out in it with him, but I didn't get past the first half episode, and the rest none. I think I tried to watch some of Hawkeye, and I didn't get past the first episode with the girl that kind of take over his character for a while or something, and then he runs into her or he looks for her. I don't know what for because I ended that one as well. Definitely. Well, I don't know if there's anyone else you want to cover. It's already over an hour.
Nah, no, we're good.
But I'm glad you're willing to jump on with me, man. I missed you
Yeah.
guys. I felt like I'm sitting here. I want to catch up with you.
I'm
I was
glad we did,
expecting
bud.
you with like a ZZ Top beard. I don't know what life is like, quarantined and then remote worker. If I was a remote worker, dude, I would be 800 pounds and my beard would be like this. Like I would look like Hagrid from Harry Potter.
I'm working on it, dude. I'm halfway there.
It looks
On both
good, man. I'm glad
beard and
the
the
goatee looks
800
good on you.
pounds.
The goatee
This
looks
is
good.
just too lazy to shave stubble.
Because of my new job, I mean, they're a lot more strict on safety. Because I should have been safe all along, but I was wearing masks over a full beard that wasn't providing no protection because I was just done. I like to grow a beard because I'm lazy and I don't like to shave. So when I got this gig, my hobo beard was like really starting to impress. But I look like a homeless wizard, so it all
I've
came
seen
off.
a
This is the
TikTok
least
where
I've
the
had.
guy turned his own beard into his mask. He pulled it above his head, put his hat down, his beard became a mask.
Yeah, and he puts the
And he put his
sunglasses.
glasses. Yeah.
It's that big. It probably would work because, to be honest, there's a difference between droplet precaution and airway precaution. Droplet means you're just trying to, you just got to cover it for sputum and stuff. But airway means it needs to be sealed. So the stuff we wear really does not provide us protection.
Right.
Unless you have subcutaneous oxygen being pumped in and it's sealed off, we're screwed.
Right.
But
like those doctors that have like the whole get up with the little backpack and stuff. And
yeah, and the respirator, like real serious shit.
Yeah. When Sam got her kidney taken out, the kidney stone, her doctor would come and he had one of those little, like, I felt like I was in a sci-fi movie. Like there was an alien in the next room and he had to wear that thing. It was funny.
I mean, it was a kind of not funny, I should say, but when COVID hit the United States, like right at the beginning of 2020, and I got deployed to New York.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we didn't know much about it at the time, so like we're scared to death of it, like we wore all. That's the only time I ever wore the gown, the splash shield. Like I looked like I was going to surgery every day. I haven't done that since New York, but what I'm getting at is we didn't know a lot about it at the time, so we feared it. But I would be in a hospital ER where there was just death everywhere, and I would see these old white doctors walk in with no masks. I was like, what the, like I guess they're not buying into the whole it can kill you thing at the time because I don't know what ever happened to them, but when I'd see them walk around all these bodies that were plagued with the disease, I was just in shock, And now you see them like you're saying. I see them at minimal. They have those 3M respirators with the big old filters here and like legit setups. I see that a lot now, but not so much then. And I was like, wow, it's crazy. These guys don't give a shit. Be looking like Karen Cross helmet. That is a character. That is a weird gimmick, right? That they kind of tried to go with him. I'll be honest with you. I'm so disgusted with the WWE. I stopped watching for a while. And I was trying to get into AEW, but not so much either, man. I'm kind of in limbo with wrestling right now. I don't know which way to go.
Not even NWA. Not even that stuff's holding you over.
I do like NWA, Impact also. I like that stuff. Ring of Honor. I've always been into those because
they're out of business, aren't they? Didn't Ring of Honor close their doors?
Is that why I don't see anything new? Yeah, I didn't.
They released everybody because money problem.
Makes sense. I think they've always struggled though. Like I think they pushed it as long as they could, and they just finally gave up. But I guess what I still watch is more like archive stuff on YouTube and all that. I enjoy because
Well, you
you get
can
to see like
watch Major Pod Network. Matt recently competed in GCW, and
yeah, I watch all that still.
X-Pac came back. You seen that? Sean
I
Whitman?
Where has he been retired all this time after he
Yeah,
pissed
yeah.
off?
He's trying to make an in-ring comeback now at this age of his life.
What is he? Early 50s, 40s?
He's older than you for sure. I don't know if he's 50s yet, but he's older than you.
Okay, he's probably around then because I'm gonna be 48 this year. 48's coming up soon, so he's got to be around my age or probably around 50 maybe. Because when I was in the 90s, I was huge. I love that whole gimmick, D Generation X. And then after he pissed off the McMahons and Triple H, that was it. He seemed like he was just sent off to an island somewhere. We never saw him again. I mean, even the Road Dogg and Jesse James and all they get their little comebacks every now and then for brief from wherever they're at with the independent places they're at. But he never got that. He doesn't get that kind of love that at least they get,
It's been hard to be excited about WWE. The product's been so repetitive. The matchups are the same.
Yeah. Of the
There's a lot.
300
They are stuck in a rut for sure.
of all the pay-per-views they have throughout the years, the Rumble is that just the 30-man Rumble has been one of my favorites to watch, and I haven't even watched it this year yet. I haven't watched it. I have Paramount Plus. Is that where it's on Paramount Plus?
It's on Peacock.
Peacock, yeah. I have Peacock, and I have access to it to watch it, and I still haven't because I've just kind of been disgusted with them. It's kind of turned me off. But I'm still going
to. Their ratings are reflecting that every week. Their viewership is down.
I thought Shane McMahon had a lot more pull with the company than he does. I can't believe he got bullied out.
They said his own dad fired him.
Wow, that's crazy. And the dad's no fucking saint either, But I was like joking, like, damn, they're gonna have like I was probably gonna get the call if they didn't have 30 men in the building. You just see me.
They had a bunch of joke spots to fill the Rumble. You could tell.
It was ridiculous.
Like they made Booker T participate. They made Jerry Lawler participate. They made
Jerry Lawler still. That's ridiculous. I mean, he looked bad at the end of his real career, not now.
Both of them were eliminated as soon as they got in the ring. They were just joke entries.
That's why I was joking about on our private page there on the Toy Savages. I was like, man, that it's going to be like Helms, Hurricane Helm, like all those guys that you only see once a year that are like backstage people, presences. They're going to come out, their little tights they fit in.
I was really sad Gargano wasn't a surprise entry.
Yeah.
But he's not signed right now. He's not signed with anyone. After his contract ended in December, he was done with his NXT contract. So he's a free agent. He hasn't signed with anybody. But his wife is about to give birth.
Dave says, what's up from New Orleans? Iron Lung era. Yeah, he's one of them, like the talents that they should be taking care of, but they don't. They just let him go.
Yeah, I was like, Pete Dunne would have been another one that would have been massive in the Rumble. They're misusing him. Walter wasn't in there. They changed Walter to Gunther or whatever. Gunter.
Cesaro didn't come out in the damn Rumble?
They didn't even put Cesaro in it, yeah. Why the heck did he even re-sign with them if they're not going to utilize him?
He worked so hard for that company, you would think, you got that talent. You pull out your big guns for these pay-per-views. It's all hands on deck,
Good Bad Bunny was in the Rumble. And
they must have had him on
wasn't.
Contract and they had to use him one more time or something like that, There must be something to that because why bring him out? I like Bad Bunny as a musician. And the
thing about WWE is they are entertainment. They're not wrestling. They're an entertainment company.
Right.
They are looking for mass market appeal so they
Yeah.
can get the most amount of advertisers that want to pitch their products during their shows.
Right. Yeah.
So they want any kind of watcher, not just hardcore wrestling fans.
Anybody they can get a hold of. And Bad Bunny's got a huge following. I mean, that he comes out on like American artists videos all the time now. He's just that popular and famous, you know.
Iron Lung Error. That's one of my closest friends from my childhood. His name's David.
Yeah, that's what he posted here. He goes, "Hey, it's my
Yeah,
best bud Harry."
I see you there, brother. Yeah, we grew up together. We were like lab partners in junior high for
Oh,
science.
that is cool.
And we had like the hottest science teacher too. So that was another great thing to bond over us.
Why are you the lucky one with a hot lab? You should have
I
saw my
mean, hey, it wasn't the norm in those years.
So that's
He
what throws
knows
you
what
off.
I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Miss Mackenzie, was it? Was that her name, David?
You know what? That just sounds hot to start with.
Bro, like we literally would just draw Spider-Man, Spawn. We would do anything but like our bare minimum work. And
I don't care about what the powerhouse of the plant cells and all that. The
no, but we wouldn't give her trouble or nothing. We were quiet. We whispered to each other, but
they just had no interest in the class.
But one thing about middle school that I'll remember is bringing my Marvel Masterpiece cards, and David would do the same. He would bring his binder,
I need to
and
look
our
this
cards
one up.
would be taken away by teachers. Various teachers would take your cards away, and they'd be like, "Well, you can't have them back until the end of school, like the end of the year."
Well, cell phones probably didn't exist yet, so you had to have something to take
But
away.
I literally would just go in the teacher's desk when she'd leave the class and take it back without her knowledge. I would just go in there and recut.
When we gonna?
There was so
Miss
much other
Parker?
stuff in there too, besides my cars. It was like Game Boys and beepers but I would just go there and get my stuff and put it back and then get it taken away again down the line and re-steal it every day.
That's funny. Miss
You
McKenzie.
see what you're saying? Miss Mackenzie. Yeah, she was Stone Cold Fox, dude. For adolescent teenage boys in science class.
When you can't control erections.
We sat right in front of her desk too. Our little lab station was the first row in front of hers, and we had a great view.
She's like, "Y'all never make eye contact when I talk to y'all."
But you would really like Dave. He's a good dude. You know? He's a very talented artist too. Is
that right?
He can draw really good, and
we need him to draw us a logo to use for this channel.
Now in his adult life, he actually, another thing that you and him have in common is your love of bars, of doing rap battles and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So you should look at some of his stuff on YouTube. Bad. He's done that like on a professional level, like rap battles.
Yeah.
That's and cool. He was
I embrace it. I'm good at it.
He was one of the best Yu-Gi-Oh players that I've seen in the entry level of the Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Yeah.
He would do that professionally too.
I actually, in high school, I played just craps. We'd go and play dice for money in the library and skip classes and stuff, like stupid stuff. I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh existed when I was in high school though. I don't know how long that one goes back.
We had a good childhood though. He was saying puberty was epic in those days.
Yeah.
we had a pretty good childhood.
All my teachers in my childhood, you didn't really know their genders. They could be just fat old dudes. You're not sure if they were women or men.
A lot of ours were too, trust me. That was the norm in those years, but
Rotom craps, snake eyes. Yeah, good memories that.
This had to be around 94.
Fuck, I was already out of high school then, like working.
We were collecting Spawn figures. Spawn figures had just dropped the holiday before, so
yeah.
him and I would bring our card backs to school and look at the back and see the rest of the.
Man, the stuff that McFarlane came out then in those days that you're talking, that stuff was so epic. Like you couldn't. I mean, everybody was collecting that weird tortured crap. You know, everybody, adults,
Dave
kids.
really could imitate like McFarlane's drawing style if he wanted to. He
Really
would be
well.
able to imitate.
Really,
He would redo covers of the books, Marvel and Image.
crazy detailed stuff.
Yeah, he was a good artist. He still is, I'm sure. That's
Yeah.
a gift. That's something that you don't lose, even if you stop doing it.
And those days, y'all get hit like you run into a wall. It didn't even affect you, right? You're like, just shake it off. No one fell over. Ah!
It is a different era for sure.
It was a different era, man. Gotta love it. But our parents came from even worse, so we had it made, maybe.
I think we went to a house show one time in the 90s in the Lakefront Arena in New Orleans. And we saw Kane, Undertaker. So it was non-televised. It was just a house show, but it was so cheap. We'd buy the cheapest seats, and then as the show went on, we would just walk our way down to the better section because they just stopped checking who was sitting where.
Right, yeah, I remember those days.
And we were literally right above where they were coming out, and there's Kane and Taker like looking.
But those days, that the whole family could go for under $100. You know, everybody could go. It was cheap.
Oh yeah, it was cheap, bud. It was cheap.
Yeah, I remember those days. Like the whole family go $50. Yeah, those were the best times to go to wrestling too. Like that, like you're saying, you're like a real fan coming down from the nosebleeds to watch and get a glimpse of those guys. And they were actually in shape. None of them had beer bellies.
This is back when the coach was there still, the first run for the coach before he went to ESPN. And I remember them beating up the coach in the ring at the time. He had a little, promo in the ring where somebody attacked him. And
he had to defend himself with fisticuffs.
Good times.
Yeah, for sure. Dang it. All right, bud, I guess.
Yeah. It's a good stopping point. Make sure you check out What If.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm going to do today. I got nothing else to do but sit here on a couch.
You're going to really love it.
I'm going to start from episode 1 and just go all the way through it.
Yeah, I'd see you binging all of them today. You're going to really dig it.
Heck yeah.
Well, thanks to the two Daves for stopping by and saying, hey.
Yeah. The two Daves saved
Fluker and the Dave from my childhood, really good friend. Consider him, close. Consider him family, good dude. But awesome. We'll do this again.
Yeah, man.
I'm glad you can host from your iPhone. That's cool.
This is a game changer, especially since I don't have a computer.
You will. You'll get one.
Yeah, I think my first payday, I'm gonna go buy like a $200 laptop, and
they're out there. They exist.
Faux show. All right, bud. Well, thank you everybody for joining in. Thank you for hanging with me, man. I will be in touch with you.
Stay safe.
Yes, sir. Never give up that hunt. And what I guess that's we don't really
have. Yeah, we got to do the outro.
We need an outro. Go take your nap, Harry. David.
I am going to take a nap. What about it? I'm off today.
Yeah, true believers.
A working man is allowed to nap if he wants to.
That's right. My wife, she like I was telling you, she's kind of remote from home as well. Mm-hmm. And I set her up a really, really nice desk for work right next to the living room couch. And when her lunch break hits, she takes 2 steps to the couch and takes an hour nap.
It's awesome, dude. I love it.
She's got it made.
I love working from home. Take a shower on your lunch break.
Yeah. You can go right to the fridge. Eating out is so expensive, man, when you're at work and stuff. It's nice to be able to do it at home, cheap. All right, bud. I'll go ahead and end it there.
See you.
You be safe. Catch you later. Peace. All right.